Okay, so I'm just going to mute. Welcome. So, welcome everybody to this conference with Le Cercle des Langues. Today we are going to be speaking about word order and common mistakes in sentence structure. So, it's very important to note that this conference will be 25 minutes long. For the last 5 minutes, we are going to do a question and answer session. That means that if you have any questions, please put your questions onto a piece of paper or put them into the chat and I will answer them later. Tonight's conference is for level A1 to A2. So let's begin. In tonight's conference, we are going to cover 4 subjects. The first one is basic word order in English. The second, common mistakes and how to fix them. Number 3, word order in questions and negatives. And finally, tips and practice and real life examples. So let's begin with basic word order. So what is word order? Word order is the correct sequence of words in a sentence. In English, the typical structure is your subject, so your person that is doing the action, your verb, the action, and an object. For example, she eats apples. We watch TV. They drink coffee. Most English sentences follow this pattern: subject, verb, and object. For example, she dances salsa. They love pizza. He reads the newspaper. We work together. And most importantly, we can add time and place. And how does it work? We use the subject, the verb, the object, and then time and place. Your verb and your object are always together. So for example, we met yesterday at the cafe. She eats breakfast at 7 a.m. at home. And he studies every night at the library. We also can add adverbs and word order. Adverbs of frequency go before the main verb, but after be verbs. For example, he always studies hard. They are often late. She never eats meat. I usually get up at 6 a.m. So what are these adverbs of frequency? We have always, usually, often, frequently, sometimes, occasionally, rarely, seldom, hardly ever, and never. So adverbs of frequency tell us how often or the frequency, the times that we do a specific action. How many times we do a specific action. So some examples would be, I always wake up early. She usually walks to school. They often eat out. He frequently travels abroad. We sometimes watch movies together. I occasionally go jogging. She rarely eats sweets. They normally play together. So remember that if it was a question or a negative sentence or with the verb to be, the adverb of frequency would be after to be, after the negation, and after the question. So in third place. What are some common mistakes that we make with sentence structure, and how can we fix them? Sometimes we can mix the subject and the verb up. For example, goes she to school every day? No, that is a question. She goes to school every day is the affirmation. So what would we do if we wanted to ask the question? We need to use the auxiliary do or does. Does she go to school every day? Is he late? That's a question. Is late he? No. He is late. That is our affirmation. Is he late would be our question. Likes she chocolate? No, c'est pas correct. It is not correct. Does she like chocolate? So we use do or does as our auxiliary verb. We also can sometimes misplace our adverbs. He plays usually football. Unfortunately, it's not correct. We need to put the adverb of frequency in second position. They are always funny. Correct, because it's after the be verb. She eats never vegetable. Nope. She never eats vegetables. We can also confuse time and place. For example, I go at the park every Saturday. No, I go to the park every Saturday. Why? Because at shows a fixed position, but go shows movement. So I need a preposition that shows movement. Which direction am I going in? I need to. If I use the verb être, to be, I would then use at. I am at the park. I go to the park. He met me yesterday in the library. No, he met me in the library yesterday. They arrived to the hotel late. No, they arrived at the hotel late because it is a fixed point. You could also make the mistake of using too many words in the wrong spot. She only speaks English fluently. She speaks only English fluently. She speaks English fluently only. So it's not correct. We just met your brother yesterday. We met your brother just yesterday. So instead of listing so many ideas in one sentence, we can use connectors, which add cohesion to your speech. For example, We can use and. We can use but. We can use because. We can use so. We can use when. We can use before. We can use after and although. So let's look at a dialogue example. You go always to the cafe? Person B says, you mean, do you always go to that cafe? Oh yes, that sounds better. Thanks. No problem. English word order can be tricky. I guess I still think in my language first. That's totally normal. It means you are bilingual in process. So what is our word order in questions and negatives? For our questions, and we are talking about yes-no questions, we use the auxiliary do or does plus the subject and the verb. For example, do you like tea? Does he work here? Did they leave? Do we need more milk? And for more information, we will add words of interrogation, the WH words. What, where, when, why, who, how, which, and whose. For more specific questions, we use the WH question word with our auxiliary, then our subject, and then the verb. For example, where do you live? What does she want? When did he arrive? Why are they leaving? So if you have to ask the question, are they leaving? The answer would be yes or no. Now I want to know, why are they leaving? I am asking for a little bit more information. So the question word changes a yes-no question to a more specific question with details. Question word order mistakes. Where you go? No. Where do you go? What she wants? No. What does she want? When he arrives? Unfortunately, it's not correct. We need to say, when does he arrive? In negative sentences, in the present, we use the subject plus don't or doesn't and the base verb. For the past use, we use the subject plus didn't plus the base verb. For example, I don't like coffee. She doesn't speak French. They didn't arrive. We don't understand this topic. So here is an example dialogue. You go always to that cafe? You mean, do you always go to that cafe? Oh yes, that sounds better. Thanks. No problem. English word order can be tricky. I guess I still think in my language first. That's totally normal. It means you're bilingual in progress. Well, as long as coffee and grammar go together, I'll survive. Deal. Let's grab a cappuccino and conjugate some verbs. So what are some tips and practice and real life examples? So we could copy sentence patterns from books or TV. So tip 1 is to use a model. For example, I usually get up at 7. So you could try, I usually go jogging at 7. I always eat toast in the morning. I often check my emails before breakfast. Tip 2 would be to say it aloud. Speaking helps fix sentence rhythm and structure. I often work late. Do they live nearby? He never eats sweets. Are you coming with us? She always brings her lunch. Tip 3 is to keep it simple. Shorter sentences reduce errors. Although she don't want, she's still coming. She doesn't want to come, but she is coming. She's coming even though she doesn't want to. She is coming, although she doesn't want to. Even if she doesn't want to, she is coming. So we are going to do some final practice together. We are going to correct the mistake. So if you would like, you can comment in the chat. The first one says, he watches always TV. What would be the correct sentence? He watches always TV. What do you think? So Virginie says he always watches TV. Beautiful. Thank you, Virginie. Valerie, Aurélie, and Anne-Sophie says he always watches TV. Joder aussi. Wonderful. He always watches TV. Number 2, where you go last night. Where you go last night. What is the correct sentence? Anthony says, where did you go last night? Anne-Sophie, where did you go? Aurélie, where do you go? Jodo, where did you go? And Valerie, where do you go? So because we said last night, we have to say, where did you go? Wonderful. Number 3, I don't like very much coffee. I don't like very much coffee. And Sophie says, I don't like coffee very much. Anthony, I don't like coffee very much. Aurélie, I don't like coffee very much. Virginie et Joder, what do you think? I don't like Jordan. He says, I don't like coffee very much. And Valerie, I don't like very much coffee. Alors, the correct response is, I don't like coffee very much. Well done. Does she likes pizza? Does she likes pizza? What is the correct sentence? And Sophie says it's correct. D'accord. Valerie says, does she like? Aurélie says it's correct. Virginie, does she like? And Joder, does she like? And Sophie, c'est pas grave. It's no problem. Yes. Does she like pizza? Because we use the base verb. The base verb. I can play also the guitar. What is the correct sentence? I can play also the guitar. I can play the guitar also. I can also play the guitar. Beautiful. Let's see what else. I can also play the guitar. I can play the guitar also. Wonderful. So the correct is I can also play the guitar. Good job, everybody. In conclusion, understanding word order in English is key to expressing ideas clearly and confidently. By learning common mistakes and how to fix them, we become better communicators in everyday situations and at work. Remember, small changes in structure can make a big difference in meaning. Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to play with the language. Word by word, you'll master the sentence puzzle. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining me for this conference this evening with Le Cercle des Langues.